Hello, good afternoon, everyone. We are from Rockland Chinese Alliance Church, New York State. Here is our short mission team. So in our church, we have a ministry called Angel's Heart Ministry, catering to the need of the families with especially children and adults. I and my wife have a especially girl who's going to do the testimony later. So over the years, and we make friends with Sister Monica, STM biblical missionary to Taiwan. So last year, God opened the door for us to serve at Bethesda, home for challenged children and adults. With the help of Sister Monica and Sister Miriam, another LCN missionary, and Pastor Carl's help, our youth team went there last year. And this year we went there again. And the good news is that they did their testimony in our church, and all our church people were inspired. And the adults would like to go too. So an adult team will go there this November. Like Ada will go, and Dr. Keys will go. Dr. Keys is under kidney dialysis, and he would like to go to Taiwan to serve among the special need people there. And next year, we are planning a dancing team. Short mission trip to Bethesda. There are ladies in our church there. They can do Chinese folk dancing, very beautiful dancing, and they would like to go next year. Amazing stories and amazing testimonies happening in our church. But now we would like to present our youth short mission team to Bethesda this past July. Andrew.
Hello, everybody. So my name is Andrew Loke, and this is my testimony for a short-term mission trip in Bethesda in Taiwan. So it is an honor to share with you about this. This is a truly life-changing experience for everybody. So it would be an honor to be part of the team serving the special needs residents in Bethesda to share about everybody's life challenges. This experience has strengthened my personal relationship with God. I was extremely grateful and excited to be on this trip to Bethesda. It was a 15-hour-long flight to Taiwan. During the train ride to Taiwan, all of us went over our ping game in order to introduce ourselves in Mandarin. I was very anxious to present myself in an audience full of foreign people speaking a foreign language. But at the same time, I was eager to meet them and to see what the Lord has planned for me on this trip. I remember that after we arrived at Holian, we met Miriam at the train station. There she drove us to Bethesda to settle us into our rooms and showed us around. From the start, I could tell she was a very kind and welcoming person. As the mission team was introduced to the rooms, I looked around the rooms and thought to myself that we were extremely blessed to have such nice rooms with AC and the hot weather. Thank you. For the next 12 days, our missionary trip would help around in Bethesda. There are workshops with different activities during the day. During the kitchen preparing meals, and on the floors of the Joy Building, where the residents eat meals, play, and sleep. We all had a chance to work at each workshop, preparing meals in the kitchen and taking care for the residents in the Joy Building. I first started working in the bakery, then moved on to the kitchen, working with Zhi, who turned out to be the most welcoming and closest friend I made during the trip. I had many great memories in my life, sharing life with new friends and doing arts with Ma Jun Chen and brushing the teeth of Kai and Xiao. During such simple experiences with each other helped me realize joy can manifest in many forms. They are the ones who open my eyes and heart, helping me realize that we are all equal, precious, and loved by God. Around the middle of our journey, with a few brothers. We were asked to assist the kids of the second floor of the Joy Building. They were severely disabled, and all of them were in wheelchairs. Although I was anxious about whether I could manage, I was determined to do my best to assist and provide a recreational fun time for them. Most of them were unable to use their hands, so I offered activities like blowing bubbles and taking them out on walks. Despite not speaking the same language, look at all the good times and laughter we shared. With God, all things are possible. After the morning workshop, we had lunch on the 5th floor of the whole building with other kids. This is when we had the most opportunity to socialize, enjoying the food and each other's company. Despite this language barriers, we washed the dishes after every meal and spent time together as a resemblance of a family. After a long week, Miriam took us to what she called a fun night. And what a fun night was. She took us to eat at various places, to visit the night market, and to hang out by the beach at night, and to bike along the blue waters of the lake. God is gracious in allowing us to experience tea fellowship while serving in the residence of Bethesda. Lastly, one of the standout moments of my trip was the 2 devotion nights. We played music and danced for residents as they joyfully sang and danced along. They were vibrant, spirited, and heartfelt worship services. The residents were full of energy and dedicated themselves wholeheartedly to worship and praise God. The presence of God was felt strongly in a deep sense of divine closeness. The room was filled with an overwhelming sense of peace, as though God was speaking directly to our hearts. Throughout my life, I've encountered many people with special needs and those in unfortunate circumstances. However, this experience was different because I had never lived alongside or taken care of them before. The memory of this mission trip will always hold a special place in my heart. It deepened my connection with God and revealed to me how blessed I truly am. Thank you, Lord, for selecting me to serve on this journey. I look forward to more opportunities to follow your call in the future. As Jesus said, whatever you did for the one least of my brothers and mine, you did for me. Matthew chapter 25, verse 40. Thank you all.
My name is Jonathan Zhu. I went to Bethesda Home for Children and Adults for the second time. And I felt a strong need to return to Bethesda for a second time after the amazing experience I had with the residents there the first time. Returning to Bethesda felt surreal. Going for a second time, I expected similar encounters, which there were. However, in this trip, I had many new experiences as well. We met different people, went to different floors, and ate different types of food. Soon after we arrived, we had introductions, dancing, and worship. During worship, I expected the residents to sing loudly and excitedly, and they did. Yet actually being there with them and worshiping God with them made me have a feeling best described as bliss, something I didn't expect. And a couple days later, it was time for Bethesda's graduation ceremony, which included a multitude of performances danced and sung by each of the floors. Some of the residents even performed solos, like Zhi Shan song. He sang Run to the Father in English, and I almost couldn't believe he was singing it. After the dances, we saw many familiar faces, like Changli and Wei Wei, graduating and receiving gifts, but also some residents that we haven't seen before. This time around, we got to go further outside Bethesda with some of the residents. We rode bikes around the nearby lake, and everyone was able to follow Miriam's instructions. Unfortunately, there was a girl who had an epileptic attack in the middle of the bike ride. Everyone, including the residents, worked as a team to help her get back safely, and the situation turned out all right. After the bike ride, we had the chance to ride on speedboats, which was enjoyable. Because she was too tired to go, the girl with epilepsy stayed back, accompanied by a girl named Ke, who's a short-termer, along with Sha, another short-termer, that have been serving at Bethesda for almost a year. Cook sacrificed to give up the boat ride in order to be with the girl displays her admirable dedication to Bethesda. Another example of their dedication is when we went to the night market. Cook and Sasa stayed with the wheelchair-ridden residents at all times to make sure they were safe. Back in Bethesda, we worked in different places such as the wood workshop, bakery, and kitchen. In the wood workshop, I met many familiar people like Leanda Hua, who graduated last year, and Lin Wei, whom we ate lunch with. He's very compassionate. He always wants to make sure everyone is safe and has enough to eat. He also constantly talked about this movie that some of them were going to see, and I was surprised to hear that it was a movie that we actually watched recently for the Angel Heart Ministry Inside Out 2. In the bakery, Andrew and I were able to help roll some of the cinnamon rolls, and the teacher even gave some to us. In the kitchen, I talked to the boy named Zhu Xian Song, and peeled corn. I also helped wash and cook the rice. Because Bethesda has so much more to feed than 3 to 5 people, like in my house, the pots were enormous compared to my family's rice cooker. Usually the floors we served at had a majority of people who could walk and a couple who needed wheelchairs, but on floor 2 in the Joy building, all but one was wheelchair ridden. Because of this, even activities like going outside is a huge treat for them. Andrew, Noah, and I took turns on different days to push one of these residents with Pastor Ren, who pushed the same resident every day, because this specific resident has a lot of energy that he can't get rid of since he's in a wheelchair, often causing him to take it out on others. We went out for about an hour and a half, passing by beautiful trees, bridges, and monuments. When we got back, I fed multiple residents their lunch. All of them had clear indicators when they were ready for the next bite or when they were finished, which I found interesting. I'm grateful for the second experience at Bethesda. And after Bethesda, we traveled to Taipei and met missionary Carl and his wife Kathy. Carl has been a missionary in Taiwan for 30 plus years. He founded a Chinese-speaking church in Taoyuan and is trilingual. He is serving both the Taiwanese and Thai peoples. His testimony of God inspires us greatly, and he takes care of Kathy, who is wheelchair-ridden. And Kathy is very supportive to Carl's ministry, and we pray that God will continue to strengthen them. I give my thanks to Bethesda, the short-term mission team, Liberty Corner Mission, and everyone back here who is constantly praying and supporting us. Thank you.
Hello everybody, my name is Nolan, and this is my second trip to Bethesda. Bethesda is a place that feels to me like a second home. It was still the loving, vibrant, and caring place that we had visited last year. It was so filled with love, spirit, and care. I was anticipating this trip for the whole year, wishing to go back and see the residents again. Different workshops. One of the main changes we had was spending time with the residents in their different workshops/space, where the residents represented their creativity and capability. These workshops/spaces included woodworking, towel, and clothes folding, the bakery, car wash, art room, and the kitchen, and the second floor of the House of Joy, where severely disabled residents lived. I was only able to go to 3 of them, where I experienced different types of care, love, and support from the residents. In the art room, I really admired how they were always able to make such spectacular and creative drawings. They were also really friendly and always complimented our drawings, giving us thumbs up and fist bumps for our artwork. One girl, Li Chun-Li, cared a lot for me and Mercy, always having a fresh smile on her face when she was helping Mercy draw asking if a person needed water, or just checking out our drawings. She always asked when we were coming back to the art room to draw, as she loved to see everybody drawing and being together as friends. I also admired the art teacher, Leah, who really knew how to unlock the passion of art in us, and had a tremendous love for the residents. I learned a lot from her about art. Kitchen. During my time in the kitchen, I realized how big of a burden it was to actually feed all the residents and staff at Bethesda. There was a huge wok in which all the vegetables, meat, and other types of food were cooked. It was at least 6 times bigger than the size of a normal wok. 3 helpers would have to wash all the vegetables first, and then slice and dice them. This team had to work very efficiently and quickly. It was hard work and made me more appreciative of the food I was eating, since I had washed and helped prepare the dishes. I did not want to waste any food. How blessed am I, because I did not have to wash and slice a mountain load of vegetables or cook from a giant wok every day. Second floor of the Joy building. At the second floor of the House of Joy, I realized how much help this floor needed. They had about 10 plus wheelchair-strapped residents who could not take care of themselves. There were only 2 teachers who had to feed the residents and take care of their hygienic needs, as well as watch over them all the time. Although 1 or 2 volunteers came to help at lunchtime, it was still very overwhelming. Pastor June and I took 2 wheelchair kids out for a walk. We went all the way to a bridge, and it was really hot and humid. But we persevered and came back in one piece. These 2 residents liked the walk very much, and I realized I had taken for granted, as I could walk, talk, move, and do things that these residents couldn't in their life. Worst Chinese. During the trip, my Chinese was the worst out of the whole team. It was hard for me to communicate with some of the residents, and especially for the ones who love to talk a lot. Sometimes I'd ask Johnny or Andrew to translate. I'm glad that I gained the ability to understand new words and phrases. For one particular conversation, I was able to tell one of the residents where my parents came from and what ethnicity they were. This made me very excited and happy. Miriam. One person that I had a lot of respect for on this trip was Miriam. She took over after Sister Monica retired, and she cared for so much of the residents, like how Sister Monica also did. She scheduled many events for us and the residents, including night market and lake trips, eating out, and graduation day. She also set up certain days where our team would just have fun together with her and 2 other German girls who were short terms. Residents that I had a deeper and closer relationship with. Weiwei. One of the residents I was closer with was Weiwei. He loved to play with me and loved to share what he liked with me. Sometimes he pretended to be a seal and wanted us all to make the sound of a seal. He loved race cars and pretended like he was driving them. He also loved his Woody plushie and made me say, "I love you" to it. He joked around with me, pretending I was Jesus and crucified me. And he always wanted to jump on my back. He is from a broken family, so I did whatever I could to try and help him and give him some of the fun that he needed. Bai Sheng Hasu. I also cultivated a close relationship with Bai Sheng Hasu, who loved to joke around with us. He always called us Jie and Baba, and then laughed. He would point at us and pretend to be confused at first. He also loved to drink soup and always thanked the Laoshu, the teacher. Zushin. The last resident I got really close to this year was Zushin, who loved to prank others and have lots of fun. He worked in the kitchen and made food for all the residents. The one thing I really admired him, although, was his singing ability, his talent. During graduation day, he He sang Run to the Father in English so passionately that it made me want to sing it with him. When I went to the kitchen on the second day, I sang the song together with him, making my kitchen experience 10 times better. In our second devotional night rehearsal, Pastor June led Zushin to Jesus Christ and gave him our new VBS t-shirt as a gift. He was really happy because on the same day, his father got released from prison, and I saw him wearing the shirt for many days in a row. Food. The food during the trip was so amazing. When we went out to eat, there were so many options, and all were delicious and not expensive. They were good-sized portions, and they always filled my stomach. At Bethesda, the food was very healthy and delicious. I love to eat all the different varieties of vegetables and meat. I also had so many different types of fruit than in America. I especially like their delicious guavas and mangoes. And there were so many new memories and new friends made from the second Taiwan trip. Here are some final pictures of me and the residents. Thank you all.
My name is Mercy Reagan. These flowers are made by the Germany children cooker. We took the flower from Taiwan to America. We fight for tank of the blessing from church and community mission. We are 6 volunteers for Taiwan. We are in process of enjoy our one having out with people heart. Processor means house of mercy.
My name is Mercy. Her name is Mercy.
Our love for processor is honor and all. Our dance in Hope 6th floor. Our dance in Joy 5th floor. Our dance in Hope 4th floor. We have lunch together and up every day. We went to the park with sisters RB and my friends in 7th floor and in workshop. We played and danced to worship Africa. We played the skip good Southern American. I learned to serve in Brazil. I love Brazil, sister Lydia. He started
UN
UN
is also a resident in
Bethesda Home for Challenged Children and Adults. It's like a training school. So the school train the residents to be independent as much as possible. But Bethesda is also a home where you would like to come back again and again. And we, the Children Mission team members, would like to help them, but actually we were helped by them. We would like to bless them, but we were blessed by them. They are so patient. Imagine that if you are wheelchair ridden, some of them are wheelchair ridden. So out of their bed, most of the time of the day, they sit in their wheelchair for hours and hours. They cannot go anywhere, but they are very patient to wait for somebody to feed them, to brush teeth for them. Some of us brush teeth for them and dry their hairs and play with them. They are very patient. They are very thankful. So when we were there, we would like to bless them, but actually we were so much blessed by them. And we feel that we are so lucky that we can just get up and go outside, go anywhere. So when we all came back with a thankful heart. So Bethesda is a home that we would like to go again and again. And thank you, and thank Pastor Carl and Sister Miriam, Sister Monica and Connie and Maria, who all made this trip possible. And thank God. And we will go this November and next year too. Thank you all.